afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master of Propaganda, Hero of Reich, Defender of the Fatherland. Off here to a 1 versus 1 on Crossing in the Woods. Yes, indeed, Crossing in the Woods with, in the southern half here, Stephenn fighting for Germany, for Reich, for the Feldherrn Halle, Panzergrenadier Division acting as a rear guard. It's a larger part of the German army tries to get away here from the Russian hordes under Whimsy spearheading here for the 5th Tank Guard with advanced warfare, shock motor and terror tactics versus Stephenn's elite troops, joint operations and German mechanized. Infantry company up here on the way, grenadiers on the way as well. Bulletin wise, we've got mines, shock troopers here, flanking maneuvers and some infantry there. Otherwise for Stephenn it's a lot more infantry and grenadier focused. First unit they're riding, by the way, noting the pioneers are skipping the point here. The grenadiers will be left to sort of secure the central point. The Feldherrn Halle Panzergrenadier Division was formed out of old Sturmabteilung members, or at least the ones who were sort of alive there. There was also a Panzer Brigade that fought on the western front for a bit there before it was disassembled again. But the Feldherrn Halle fought in the Baltics and afterwards fought in Hungary. Will later be upgraded in fact to a full Panzer Corps with 2 Panzer Grenadier divisions and some other core elements. So, little fun fact there, little fun fact. For a Panzer Grenadier division, it was actually reasonably well equipped. Had a full tank battalion, and I believe actually some half-tracked elements, which is actually rarer for Panzer Grenadier divisions unless they were well considered somewhat elite. Got fighting over here, grenadiers encountering the conscripts in heavy cover and some shrubbery. And right here, there's not really a lot of cover for Stephenn, so Stephenn quickly breaks off. In this case, falls back with someone's grenadiers, take his local round up so he can sort of focus on that a bit more before moving up there, where he might have slightly more cover, and hoping that Whimsy might also move on, I imagine. So far, no doctoral sign of anything here. I mean, Whimsy could, for example, have gone for advanced warfare right off the bat for radio intercept, thus gaining an intelligence advantage over Stephenn, who so far with 3 grenadiers are fighting. Most seeing action on the left flank. We're seeing a bit there on the right, but not much. And there you go. Shooting Rockball breaks out. And noting, by the way, Whimsy's most force there on the right flank himself. A bit more centerwards as well, though. In theory, could actually try and rush here for the cut-off point, which would definitely catch Stephenn off a bit guard there.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
Grenadiers moving up the right flank. Falling back there to secure the victory point. Might have been better to use the pioneers for that while keeping the grenadiers at the front line. In this case, it was a bit of the reverse there. And there you go, we got Whimsy attacking in full force here. 3 conscious squad bearing down upon Stephenn's forces in one go. And there's not really a lot here to sort of really stop with the pioneers, and not sufficient nearby to assist. The grenadiers themselves also a bit spread out. And there we go, Whimsy brute forces 1 squad off the field. We've got another engagement over here. Grenadiers might have a slightly better chance, but overall he's being pushed back. We're actually seeing Stephenn go for a sniper here. Scharfschütze on the way. Been an interesting opening there from Stephenn. I suppose on a map like Crossing in the Woods it could work out, but at the same time it's only going to keep him a bit on the defense until he arrives. And now he's likely going to lose a lot of ground here. In fact, could see Whimsy rushing straight for the fuel point here. Though we do have some pioneers waiting here, hiding, ready to ambush some of the Russians, unless they get spotted themselves before that, and then otherwise try and gun them down there with their MP40s. And there we go, German sniper out on the field with his scoped Gewehr 43. Though technically, they preferred using the scoped K-90 cases, did have more firepower in that sense. 35 mine up there. Good spot that for that, by the way, from Whimsy. So far, there's some little whimsical behaviour from him, though. And they're going to take the car point quickly is sent off there. Mine entering the breaking up, it gets thwarted by Whimsy's conscripts. And we've got, by the looks of it, more mines up there. Whimsy finding some good spots to mine there to make it more difficult for Stephenn to move about. Not bad, not bad. We also got no upgrade so far for the conscripts. There's a field infirmary, but that's it. For the time being, anyways. Of course, Whimsy making good use of his battlefield menace bulletin. And of course, taking advantage of this more swift mine placement. We also got some flamethrowers there trying to flank here. Sniper could be a bit dangerous if the comets catch him. Well, Stephenn realises what's going on. We're trying to get the sniper away. Company is closing in. Now they come saying, in fact, running straight into Grenadier fire here. In fact, they might end up in a position where they're going to have to shoot right past. And we also got an MD-43 up for Stephenn now. They do manage to make it out of there. But a bit of a close shave there for, well, Dimitri. The rest, though, well, got a bit more than they asked for when they got to the shave. But here we go. Whimsy taking advantage of the fact that Stephen's pouring all of his resources and troops over there to basically go for the cut point there. Very well done, very well done. Nicely outplaying Stephenn there. We've also got a bit of a minefield up there. That could have to cause Whimsy a bit of a problem there. He's going to sort of try and charge in if he's not quite paying attention. That could definitely also get ugly.
This is now German territory.
In particular, also note, Whimsy's got no minesweeper, so essentially he can't do anything about it except try to avoid it. More sniper shots there. Still no doctrine from either side. No choice in that department. There we go. Whimsy might be in fact be charging straight into the minefield, not paying attention. I mean, it is surprising how often you can do that. If you're occupying by there we go. Got most of the country support wiped out. Yes, mine's doing their part for the war effort. Only 15 munitions, and, well, he already managed to maim one conscript squad there. He didn't quite wipe it out, but certainly that's going to be a bit more breather. Bunker going up there. No, we got taking up there. Like to make out his company is available for Stephenn. Of course, Stephenn could try and take further on, though that is a bit rarer to see, though he might try it. Whimsy, on the other hand, rushing straight here for the tank battalion command. He might try and rush either for a half-track or a T-70, either of which could be quite good here and certainly punish Stephenn quite harshly, if well utilised. The Grenadiers are in a bit of poor condition. Stephenn might consider pulling back, or maybe Stephenn is feeling frisky. I'm willing to bet his men's lives on it. Admirable leadership qualities there from Stephenn. Do not worry, men. You may die, but it's a risk I am willing to take for Germany. Sniper moving up there, and quick shots down the conscript, sending them running off. Slowly closing on the veteran one. There goes actually going for a half track. It's been some time since we've actually seen such an aggressive play from half track there from the Russians, but in this case, Whimsy is definitely going for it, and again going for the cut point there. I mean, Whimsy's sort of really good at sort of trying to feel around Stephenn and try to poke him where he's a bit unguarded. In this case, again going for the cut point there. Half track on the way here for Stephenn. He might want to get a pack out soon as well. I mean, this is definitely a bit irregular. I mean, most players don't quite rush that way that Whimsy is doing. Also, fun fact, both of them actually going for a half track. But usually, I mean, a Russian player in most cases, what you expect, you know, might at least rush for a T-70. Otherwise, you know, T-30. But otherwise, again, play for the doctrinals. Right here, Whimsy is definitely going a bit beyond the usual meta game. He's going to be taking advantage of that, I believe, quite nicely. Stephenn going to be caught a bit off guard here. A bit off guard. And soon we got the Kratmo up as well here. That's definitely only going to make things more miserable for Stephenn Soldaten. Never mind his half-track, which is not built to resist 450 calibers in an AA configuration. There we go, half-track forward. We got the rear moving forward here versus the AA half-track, and there we go. Just getting shredded. And this, oh, scheisse. Stephenn was completely caught with his lederhosen down on his between his ankles, and he got hammered there by Whimsy, who was definitely not doing what most Russian players are doing right there, and that's definitely well done. We also got here mines around the car point. In fact, Stephenn's laid down a rather extensive minefield in this case to make it harder to sort of go for all the time. That's nice. Getting a pack 40 now. Might try and Panzergrenadier at the very least to sort of buy some time there versus the AA half track. Already 3 kills, one of them is a vehicle, and veterans who won. So of course how will seem to sort of further react to this development. We're still seeing no doctrine here from either player, and we are closing in on the 10-minute mark. I mean, right now, I mean, he could, for example, go for advanced warfare again, radio intercept, but also conscript assault packages, which soon also available to the repair kits, which could help him repair the half-track. Oh, he actually went for it. About time. And certainly a lot of submachine guns there could help. Sadly, he's not quite there. He's just lacking like a few sort of command point hits. We can sort of get it. I mean, there we go. Yuri got shot. Look, guys, we can repair stuff thanks to Yuri getting shot in the face. I shouldn't be so happy, should I? Well, there you go. Stephenn's position was we're getting overrun here by a massive assault, thankfully. I imagine for Stephenn's case, they had not been upgraded with the submachine guns. All that could have looked a lot more ugly. And before two, they're setting up there to try and solve their advance. Can they do it? Also, veterans run up with the sniper opening up for the incendiary explosive round. Or the vehicles. Oh, there you go. Ooh, roaring. Come on, Stephenn. Shoots him. Shoots him in the face. There we go. Meanwhile, though, Stephenn's taking advantage of all the action over here to sort of sneak up here, returning the favour that way to Whimsy. Stephenn, though, still refraining from any sort of doctrinal play or taking up. Then again, he might be a bit more concerned with all those Russians and that crap mower, which is getting very close to Veteran 2 already. It's definitely getting its money's worth out there for Stephenn.
The enemy is taking our territory.
And we've even got a telemine over here. An interesting position, by the way, for a telemine. But it might work out there, I suppose. I imagine Stephenn might have some reasoning there for it. But it's generally rare you see a telemine specifically there. We also got some mines here. Good job there. He's continuing laying down more mines. Also looks like some mines no, actually haven't been dealt with at all here. Looks like he's not seeing them. And of course, I mean, the mines, if we just see them, he doesn't automatically clear them out. So he can easily walk past them with the pioneers there with the mines for kit. And there you go, taking up. We got here another Grenadier squad on the way. Stephenn perhaps feeling a bit vulnerable. Interesting enough, not going for some Panzergrenadiers, instead just opting for more regular Grenadier. Man engagement over there.
Our industry grows to support us.
Minor success on the left flank. We're not seeing anything further here. It might be that Whimsy sort of realised, you know, I could just wait for the T-3045. So he might benefit from single T-7 or T-3476 for further gain advantage. And oh! No! Stephenn's telemine actually paid off, completely lighting the AA half-track on fire. That's a bit of a rare occurrence.
Grenadiers reporting. Ready.
But I imagine Stephenn is not complaining. On the other hand, Whimsy might be less than whimsical. Another mine went off, though with less catastrophic consequences for the army.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
There goes support armor corps. Could go up now for Stephenn in this very moment. And there goes. He's actually replacing the AA half-track. Now that's less seen. Normally you wouldn't expect it to replace, but in this case Whimsy's actually doing so. With another AA mount. And interesting enough, the conscripts are not being upgraded at all. I mean, normally you'd see players who get access to the conscript assault package at least upgrade a cover squads with it. But Whimsy seems reluctant to do so. At least for the time being. Now I got the Pack 40 moving up here, half-track moving in. Oh dear, Whimsy might be overextending his luck here. There we go, nice hit from the Pack 40. Needs to get away, needs to get away. Looks like he was too slow, and there we go. Pack 40 got in a successive shots, then knocking out the second half-track there. This on the island turning out to be a much heavier loss here for Whimsy, since he really did manage to do a lot of damage. And that's ended up with a lot more resources wasted right there for the Russian army. And then I've got the coach there ready to get some vengeance on that Pack 40. While they're trying to catch the sniper. Oh, Christ, they could lead him into this mine there. No, it looks like they might catch him. Looks like they might. There we go. Stephenn's sniper cut down. Whimsy saw an opening there and he went for it. And he succeeded. That might certainly make up, at least in part there, for the anti-aircraft half-track wiped out. Now he's falling straight in. He's not paying attention to the minefield again. Oh, just in the nick of time. He stops right at the outskirts of it before retreating. Fuel catch up for Stephenn in their case. Stephenn might be planning something here. Or just preparing for armoured warfare to a larger extent. There goes support armor corps going up. He could after that go straight for an Ostwind. or the Sturmgeschütz, if he so fancied. Whimsy, on the other hand, closing in the T-3045s. Also, to note, Stephenn has not upgraded a single gun of this squad. They were like machine guns.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Not one. Oh dear, mine went off then, the Grenadiers. Almost taking out the entire unit, and then retreating, maybe. Oh, just avoiding the mine. Whimsy's having a few more troubles now here with Stephenn. Struggling a bit further. And he's clearly setting up here for the T-3045. He could have fought maybe something extra in the meanwhile. I mean, he's got a support weapon company, but he's not using it. I mean, a maximum mortar could definitely do a lot, I think, for Whimsy here in the fight versus Stephenn. And Stephenn, interesting enough, has not chosen a doctrine either. Not a single doctrinal bit there at all. Come on, Stephenn. Make a choice there from the support armor corps. Deutschland demands it.
We are losing a sector.
Territory being lost, territory being gained, and there we got a flak panzer on the way here for the Feldherrnhalle.
This is a nice spot again. It's ours.
Enforcing. There we go, he's actually getting some maxims up there. Good, good. And he's getting extremely close to the T-3045. Extremely close. I mean, he could also consider some fuel caches if he's really so intent on it. I mean, fuel caches would speed up the process in the longer run as well, as they do cost a bit of fuel. I mean, it never hurts with that. I mean, again, if you're going to rely to a certain extent on doctrinal call-ins, gaining a fuel cache generally tends to be a good idea. But there you go, Flak Panzer arrived. But the very soon, more or less, for the moment, it's going to get hit by a T-3045, so that could easily end up a bit unpleasant there for Stephenn. More mines up there. I mean, Whimsy's definitely not giving up there. If only he could just be a bit so clever there with the fuel cache. And there we go.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Conscripts on the run. Flak Panzer bereit. Oh, he might. Not sure what that was about. Anyways, assault going off here. Flak moving in there. At the same time, the T-35 rolls forwards here. I fear Stephenn's Flak Panzer is in trouble already. At the same time, we've got the MB-40 incendium, which is the Maxim there. Firing down on the Pioneers, sweeping mines and actually laying down Teller mines in return. Oh dear! Scheiße! Got the damn incendium allowing the Flak Panzer to get away. We've got Pack 40 also up here. And the MD-42 is really going through that Maxim crew, leaving several of them dead inside the building.
We are losing a sector.
Pack 40 moving in there, constantly about to repair the T-3045. The Pack 40 might ruin that effort. There we go. T-35 coming to fire here. And the MD-42 was forced to fall back. They're still getting several of the machine gun crew there. And then Grenadiers walk straight into the mine, losing more than half the unit. He could get a StuG right there to sort of further provide some firepower. We got an close attempt there, the strafing run. Pack 40 though, hat guarding away. On the other hand, the Ostwind didn't really get anything there. And there goes Sturmgeschütz on the way here for Stephenn. Well, the T-35 is seeing some well-needed repairs from the conscripts. The T-34, generally not known for being a hard vehicle to maintain. Another mine there. Those mines are definitely proving quite devastating there to see. He's not losing entire squad, but still they're keeping up quite the manpower pressure on him. Still flooding a bit of manpower there, Whimsy. Again, fuel caches, fuel caches, fuel caches. Would keep up things there a bit. And just like Stephenn. Head on assault there for the conscripts. And the Flak Panzer arrives. And the conscripts run straight through their own Molotov. That could maybe have been a bit executed. Sturmgeschütz arrives there. Careful, careful, Stephenn. Stephenn. It's a StuG. Not a Tiger tank. Looks like Stephenn might have... Yeah, there we go. A poor rally point right there. And... Oh dear. can happen. You forget about a rally point and it bites you in the arse afterwards. So right there, his StuG tragically got wasted. That could have gone a lot better, and sadly, he did only minimal damage here to the T-3045 in this case.
That's everyone. Grenadiers ready.
So that did not go so well. Gaining a second pack 40. He might of course try and aim for another StuG rapidly. Another fuel cache might be an idea. Still no further here from Whimsy, though he's getting another T-3045. Now up to 2 tanks versus the fascist hordes.
New anti-tank gun has arrived.
There we go, T-35 opening up there with its 85mm gun. There we go, pack 40 opening up. He could try and get off a target weak point there versus the T-35, but it looks like he might be moving away. Getting very close to Victory 2, then there we go, we got another T-35 moving in. Could Panzerfast it. It looks like the opportunity there was not intended or missed. Looks like Stephenn might be baiting the T-35 here with his pack, with his Ostwind, causing it to move straight to the right of here of the pack 40 with Victory 2 now, allowing it to do more damage to the T-35, in which case that was pretty clever. More pioneers on the way since the rest have been lost. Tragic loss there for Germany. Meanwhile, Whimsy definitely should do something about all that manpower. Again, fuel caches would help. Munitions caches could very much also be an option. And I'm still surprised he's not bothered with a single assault package. It does feel a bit odd. Oh dear. Whimsy might be feeling a bit whimsical there. That Maxim definitely wasn't a bad spot. And there we go, Veterans one for the Ostwind. Oh dear. That was definitely not so wise there from Whimsy. And again, T-35 into the pack 40's line of fire, suffering heavy damage to German anti-tank crews. Steven's got the option here for another Sturmgeschütz if he so wants to. Still, though, no doctrine from Stephenn. No doctrine from Stephenn. Also noting, no mid-game analysis. This is a bit of a longer fight. Bit of a longer fight.
Standing by.
We are ready for action.
T-35 moving, Grenadiers moving up.
Our base is under attack.
Schnell Panzerfast down, there you go, damaged engine. While lacking the element space to sort of pursue it. Pursuing in with the Ostwind, carefully doesn't get it too close, otherwise he might risk an anti-tank grenade, in which case the T-3045s might pounce on it. Then again, they might not, due to the way that Stephenn keeps his Ostwind within range of his pack 40s, which is overall not a bad idea. Interesting enough, Whimsy's still not considering getting anything more to help try and deal with the pack 40s, at least lay down a smoke screen in front of them, or a field gun to help deal with the Ostwind from a safer range. So, I mean, that would definitely be something that Whimsy should consider instead of floating all that manpower. There we go. As I said, it happens. Oh dear, that T-35 is in a bad position, getting hammered here by pack 40 from several sides, got a damaged engine. We've got a strafing run there, opening up on the Grenadiers and the pack 40 crew. The pack 40 crew getting surprisingly well off from that. Surprisingly well. And trying to catch the T-35 here, trying to escape. StuG is still very much an option. He could also just try and consider taking up, going for a Panther instead there. I mean, that could also work quite handsomely there versus Whimsy. Under fire. Oh, tripwire flare mine killing Heinz. And there you go, T-35 coming to fight again. That pack 40 crew is definitely turning out to be lethal and turning out to be Stephenn's biggest asset. In particular now at Veteran, defeated with a good rate of fire plus good penetration. And there you go, a second Sturmgeschütz for Germany. In fact, you can even get a second one or a third one, whatever, to support this one. He's definitely got resources for one already, though. Would not be a bad idea. I mean, the more StuGs, the better. In particular, with that amount of T-35s, you'll definitely more than one assault gun to really deal with it, plus the infantry. And we got the mortar crew a bit exposed. They've also been moving in. Ospid also getting awfully close there to veterans too. Good job there with the MD-42 covering, ensuring it does not get rushed. There's some nice tactics there from Stephenn. Stephenn having good job pushing back. Whimsy now, in fact.
The enemy is taking our territory.
And there you go, Osman suffering a bit though to the field gun. Finally, Whimsy's bringing up more equipment to the front line. He's also got a T-35 there available. We also got StuG there moving up. Again though, he seems to still be stuck here at this rally point. He might want to consider a different one. Oh, scheisse. Mine went off there. Heavy engine damage. He's going to need Pioneers up to it. He's also going to consider getting the StuG up to support it. And it seems like Whimsy here might have spotted what's going on. He's on the move. He's also got one veteran T2 T-3045 already. And interesting enough, he's not getting a third one. Then he's getting a... Oh, Panzer fast off while the T-35 is occupied with the StuG. I mean, the veterans he won. Oh, yeah, for the T-35. What I'm saying, I mean, it got abandoned. Christ almighty. Not quite fully functional there. Then he's getting replacement one there just as the other one's about to get blown up. I mean, it would have been better had he been supporting it initially with more T-3045s there. A bit of a tactical blunder. We got the Pack 40 here moving up as well. StuG moving ahead though. Stephenn needs to be careful. Now, he's still not chosen a doctrine. Still no sign of a doctrine there from Stephenn. Though we do get veterans one there. Sturmgeschütz. Target weak point available. Second pack there catching the T-35 there in a deluge there of shots. StuG moving ahead though, needs to be careful. 4646. Heinz, you're not driving a Tiger. Remember that. Meanwhile, the other T-35 striking versus German infantry on their flank, which is much more exposed since the packs were all moved over to the right flank. And the veteran 2 T-35 is taking advantage of that. And there you go, another Sturmgeschütz there on the way for Stephenn. As the tank core slowly builds up for a good old Stalin punch. Oh no, this is less good here for Stephenn. One of the Pack 40s was stolen away. Thankfully it was not the Veteran 3 crew that was lost, but nonetheless still handing over an anti-tank gun to the Russian tends to be not good, unless you're the Russians, in which case it's good.
Yes?
He could still in fact have resource to tag up, then maybe sort of supplement the Sturmgeschütz with a Panther or a Sturmpanzer. What a Panzer there for? Bit of a dangerous thing here having that so close to the mine. So mortar continues on to get off some good kills there. Ooh, there we go. StuG opening up there on the field gun. Might actually get the through there if it can hit. Might want to repair that T-35, but still good job they're using it to take the point. Using the secure mode. Always a handy ability to have and use. Second StuG up to support the first one. You could even get a third one. For these two, would definitely be quite potent, in particular if we can get some more veterans on them. Otherwise, taking up would very well be a good choice. Never mind, he's getting another Ostwind to help deal with infantry. Also a solid approach there. He could also consider getting another fuel cache, whereas Whimsy is now maybe regretting at this point he didn't get one earlier. I mean, the fuel cache is definitely, I think, paying off for Stephenn at this stage of the fight. And probably has already paid itself off. There you go. T-35 coming to fire from the Sturmgeschütz. Bad situation there for Whimsy. A bit too slow to repairing it, and this results in a nice easy kill here for Stephenn. Plus veteran 2 for his one StuG, which gives a slightly higher rate of fire. But for thicker frontal armor though, really it's not that much of an armor bonus. It might have a slightly better chance of deflecting shots and anti-tank grenades, but it more or less puts it at the same level as a non-veteran Panzer IV, which is a bit limited. StuG then up with a damaged engine rather heavily. Stephenn needs to rapidly repair those. Needs to get more pioneers and get them up there. Otherwise, the StuG's going to be in a lot of trouble. In particular, this one is low on health. You can't withstand maybe 1 or 2 more shots before it's out. T-35 here caught in the middle of the road with heavy engine damage. We've got the Pak 40 hammering away. Osborne moving up to deal with the supporting infantry. And there we go. A lot of trouble. StuG needs to pull back. Those StuG needs to pull back into close again. He's finally got them upgraded with submachine guns. Took him long enough. Osborne moving up to cover here. Conscripts charging in madly. Engine damage on the Flak Panzer. Bad news there for Dietrich. StuG gaining more kills for Germany. No Pintelman machine gun on that, by the way. Pak 40 crew was wiped out. That's definitely going to hurt Stephenn, though. The loss of Veteran 3 crew is definitely not something you want to happen. Meanwhile, we've got the remaining T-35 here. Oh, he's got another one arriving, but now he's beginning to run out of fuel again. The lack of fuel cache is beginning at this point to definitely hurt him. Target point there versus the T-35. Another Pak moving up. Closing in then, Veteran 3 for the Sturmgeschütz. Pak 40 opening up as well. He could see that T-35 knocked out. And there we go, kaput. But now it definitely needs to get out of there. And at the same time, as all this is happening, all the guns are pointing in the wrong direction. We've got the T-35 moving in. There we go, mine went off. Oh, it did not go off. Flak Panzer kaput. Stephenn needs to get that StuG out of there. It's too low on health. Too low on health. The armor won't cover. I mean, that's really my main issue with the StuG. Veteran 2 is largely useless, since the armor bonus is not really much. Might as well change the bonus. And either way, the StuG just went down in flames. Wrecked there, and the other one simply can't do anything because Stephenn is in this case too slow getting it repaired. And for that matter, the more veteran one. So right here, with a single T-35, he's definitely doing some heavy damage there to Stephenn and the Feldherrn Halle. Now, of course, the question is, what will Steve do next? He's getting another Sturmgeschütz. Whimsy, though, really should consider a fuel cache. Meanwhile, he's getting more field guns. Stephenn's got most of Veteran 3 Grenadiers now. No Panzergrenadier still. And there you go, the StuG got wrecked.
We have lost a Panzer.
Losses keep piling up there. Veteran 2 on the mortar, and a quick rough grenade versus the clumped up infantry, but sadly shot a bit too far there. Fourth Sturmgeschütz moving in. And the T-35 there being repaired. Good, good. Might want to use the conscripts as they're getting reinforced to help with those repairs. Stephenn, though, still no doctrinal choice. Still no doctrinal choice. I'm quite surprised at that. I mean, all 3 doctrines would offer him some benefits of different kinds. Elite troops could be used to sort of speed up the veterancy of the Sturmgeschütz, could offer him up grenades, Gewehr 43s, Pan-Tactician, that would help his troops all survive. Joint operations would offer up with the officer, artillery and such. And mechanized could help him with spotting scopes for the StuGs, command tanks, artillery as well. I mean, there's plenty of options there, but so far none of them are really being used here for Stephenn. He definitely should consider looking into that. It does seem like Stephenn's increasingly being more and more late in his sort of doctrinal usage, it feels like.
This is now German territory.
Taking away the fuel point there from Whimsy. Gutes Arbeit, Leute. Shall Stephenn go for another Sturmgeschütz, or will he take up, or what will he do? Another Ostwind, maybe? Will he try and play for a Panzer IV? On the other hand, his StuG's there, about to get into a lot of trouble. Field guard setting up, and already there we go. StuG suffering damage. We got a bunker actually going up from Steve to cover the centre.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
T-35 here being pushed too far ahead, but Molotov there sorts that out. Whimsy is though sort of beginning to run out of steam again. The heavy play on T-35s, but without the fuel caches, is really sort of slowly letting him run out of steam there. Steam sort of counters the T-35, so he is himself losing some StuGs here left and right. Definitely a bit unfortunate there for Stephenn. He might want to work on showing a bit better. He does seem to have a slight tendency of using towards tanking, but again, you know, with at the same time with the thin frontal armor, it is a bit easy to knock them out, combined with a low health. But again, you know, doctrine to maybe help that. I mean, in that case, elite troops or mechanized would both help. Smoke bombs would also help allowing his StuGs get away. Again, back to securing points. They're using his tanks, and good job there from Whimsy. And overall, Whimsy is now beginning to use a lot more stocks. In fact, he's used pretty much everything in it. Again, Stephenn on the other hand, it's not really chosen one. Not chosen one at all. I'm curious to know why.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Incendiary rounds going off there. T-35 though needs to be pulled back for repairs again. And there you go, using the T-34 to secure the fuel point. It's a bit risky. I mean, there's nothing to really sight for it, and if Stephenn sort of ambushes, it could end up ugly. But at the same time, the StuG though is on the far right here, dealing with a mortar crew and supporting, well, nothing actually. Bit risky there by Stephenn, to put it mildly. Don't want to lose that Sturmgeschütz. Don't want to lose that Sturmgeschütz.
Has been approved with an MG-42. Capture complete. The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
So we'll get another one to support. I mean, generally StuGs work better in packs. They don't operate so well on their own at all. Another one lost. I mean, Stephenn does seem to be playing them a bit unfortunately there. Bit of a surprise. And he's still not chosen a doctrine. I mean, at this point, it's a bit odd, to put it mildly, considering what his opponent's been bringing against him as well. And now his bunker there coming under fast roll from the field gun. Starting to look a bit grim, and there you go, another T-35 arrives here for the Soviet Union. Stephenn, on the other hand, you know, it's got plenty of fuel throughout the fight. In part thanks to that fuel cache, I imagine. Though also I imagine because he's not relying solely on doctrinal armour, which is a bit more expensive. But even then, considering the sort of losses he's been suffering, overall he's sort of been playing it a bit more strategically safe. Right, sorry about that. Seems to have been a slight technical snag there. I mean, Molly's got continued pressure along the front line here. At 40 though, needs to set up there. 4-6 Stephenn, 4-6. And there you go, flanking on the position. Yes. Sadly though, they rather lack the firepower to really knock it out. I mean, they could try with some anti-tank grenades, which might work. There we go, quick rifle grenade then response. Still not taking up, still not armoured response. I seems beginning to start to float a bit of resource there. I wonder what he's thinking. Oh, never mind, another Sturmgeschütz. Hopefully with a bit more luck. And there we go, we actually got mortars there trying to burn down the bunker.
This is German territory! No! Comrade! Germans! They're attacking us!
Oh, this might actually work there.
The enemy is attacking one of our forward buildings. They are wiping us out!
Got the infantry advancing. Quickly, Yuri! Get into the tall grass. They cannot see us. Are you sure? Maybe.
Grenadiers!
The battlefield certainly littered with debris. Whimsy still not really opting for any fuel caches. I really think he should do it. Another Maxim on the way though. And Stephenn still reluctantly not using a doctrine. Is he doing this on purpose maybe? I suppose. It does feel a bit odd though. The T-35 then moving ahead. At 40 needs to set up there. Stephenn's a bit risky there again. A bit reckless. Which can work out, but it can also end you a lot of trouble. And there goes Teddy around to the MD42 that close victory 3 and increased damage due to an increased accuracy. Amongst other things, and there we go. Now the MD42 not a trouble. There we go. T-35 coming from him from the StuG shots. StuG can hit. Looks like Stephenn actually added in a second MD42 at that point. $15 kills there on the StuG or the MD42 core. Whimsy is beginning to run a bit out of Whimsy as his men are getting ever brutally slaughtered here. His strategy beginning to show some larger flaws in it, if you will. Even though he needs to be careful with the StuG. Keeps sort of making the same mistake there. T-35 managed to miss this time around, that's something. And he's flooding a lot of resources. I wonder what Stephenn's thinking here. Or is he too focused on the fighting on the front line, which I suppose is an option to consider. It does feel a bit odd. But there you go, another StuG ships on the way. Still no doctrine. Still no doctrine. How odd. We got the third mortar crew closing ever in on Veteran 3 as well. That's going to be bad news for Stephenn when that happens. Looks like he was actually able to steal away one of Stephenn's MD42s. Not good there either. StuG not receiving any repairs. Yeah, getting some kills though.
Forces are securing our territory.
There you go, another StuG shoots and getting an Osprey. Looks like Stephenn has a more set strategy and he's needing 2 StuGs and an Osprey, forming a sort of armoured core out of that. And finally we got a doctor as well. He's gone for joint operations. Took him 43 minutes to cover down one of the victory points there. Bit of surprise that. I mean, with that many StuGs, mechanized would have been a good choice for its spotting scopes, or elite armoured for the Panzergrenadier. Made some troop training, and there we go, charging up with the StuGs against the conscripts. Trying to get some kills into Russians. And there you go, a third Austrian flak panzer mobilised towards the front line. Stephenn could also consider maybe getting an officer out in the field to coordinate things further for Germany. Quick assault there from the flak panzer and Whimsy's positions here by the northern redoubt. What you can call that. T-35 running forwards. While the Maxim here is getting blasted by the Sturmgeschütz. infantry's there. There you go, nice bit of StuG bombardment there. Forcing the maximum to hastily fall back, lest be blasted into tiny bits.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
There you go, again, Stephenn's playing awfully aggressively there again. Part of me wonders if we're maybe doing this a bit more experimentally. And Scheisse, again, he gets punished for it. Straight into mine one with a heavily damaged engine, one with a damaged engine. Stephenn, what were you thinking? StuG down. Trying to get the other one, ignoring the one which of course can't harm him. Ultimately he's going to have to deal with it. That, again, I'm not sure what Stephenn's thinking there. Again, a part of me feel he might be experimenting a bit here, trying out some new things. And there we go, into tank, he knocks out the StuG in the end. Now Stephenn instead getting a Panzer IV, feeling like he might want to change tack a bit here. His veteran 3 MD42 in a bit of trouble, and victory points are definitely not looking good for Stephenn. No, he cancels the Panzer IV, going again for StuG. MD42 quick clearing out the field gun crew that slew his Sturmgeschütz. And this field gun crew is quickly getting slaughtered here by the accurate marksmanship like fire here with the MD42, which was actually surprisingly accurate for an MD4 machine gun that fired out a lot of bullets. In fact, that was one part of the design that was actually meant to be rather accurate. At least with the initial sort of few rounds.
StuG 3 ready to deploy.
Territory secured.
But Whimsy is beginning to get a lot of troubles. And again, he was sort of constantly playing the same strategy, and it certainly had its flaws again, partly because he was relying so much on the T-3045s, but rather lacking in the fuel to keep it going, floating on manpower. Now it's all the other, and he's got a bit of fuel, but now it's sort of lacking heavily in the manpower, because in the meanwhile there, he basically sort of had to use a lot more on infantry, and that way Stephenn slowly ground him down and sort of wiped him out. And the StuGs and the Austrians, despite the losses he suffered, still managed to do some damage usually before they were wrecked in most cases. Thus still applying some pressure there to Stephenn, or Whimsy, I mean, not Stephenn. Meaning that Whimsy, no matter what, was still also drained of manpower. And of course he suffered heavily to the Pak 40s. Austrian though went down. One of many. And there we go, another T-35 there, the veteran G2. Higher rate of fire. Deal with the fascists. And there goes Sturmgeschütz opening up there with 75mm gun. On the hunt, there we go, T-35 set alight. Another StuG there arriving. Stephenn is nothing if dedicated here. It is a bit surprising again. Generally not how I'd recommend you use a Sturmgeschütz though. That much I can say.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Main gun destroyed. Sadly he's not got a doctor or an officer which is going to lay down a smokescreen or anything else. In that regard, his assault gun's in a bit of a tight spot there. Quick artillery barrage there though to stop the MD42 pilfered from him. Another T-35 there. StuG needs to go there from the field gun.
We are losing a sector.
49 kills on those grenadiers though, Gott im Himmel. That's not exactly bad. Quite the opposite.
Assault gun standing by.
Another flak panzer there for Stephenn.
The situation
It
is
very much
becoming
seems like the
critical.
sort of set strategy and tactic there he's
15
playing,
points
but
remaining.
there's clearly some gaps there in it. In particular in the way he uses his Sturmgeschütz, which definitely has some flaws in it, which results in a very high rate of losses amongst them. I mean, he can do some serious damage with them occasionally using it, but at the same time, it does put them at much greater risk, and it's generally where he sort of ends up losing most of them, which rather limits a bit this strategy. I mean, he's trying to play them like they're Panzer IVs, but they don't quite have the armor, the health, or the turret for it. When used properly, they can really do a lot of damage. For example, we had one veteran to 2 for Stephenn. Beyond that, most of them didn't even reach veterans 1 due to the way he sort of kept playing them. There you go, T-55 rolling in there.
Supply are disrupted.
StuG going to need to cover that Ostwind. Stephenn, by the way, seems to have lost all of his Pack 40s. There you go, StuG flanking the T-35. Panzergrenadier as well. Should give StuG a good chance of hunting it down and knocking it out.
75 points.
Points, though, extremely low there for both sides. But now we got the Flak Panzer taking through the remainders of Whimsy's forces. StuG there a bit too close. Use the Pioneers there for spotting purposes. Field gun evaporated, its crew murdered. Für Deutschland. The field gun recruit. Shot failed to penetrate there, and then gets within range of the field gun. And the T-35 knocks it out as well.
Our panzer forces have been reduced by 1.
So many StuGs lost. But another one already on the way here.
How can we help?
We are losing a sector.
Field gun there under fire.
Capture complete. StuG 3 ready to deploy.
There we go. I don't know how many has he built actually. 10? I mean, again, they've done a lot of damage. It's certainly not that. The problem is, he's had to build 10. Christ, if Guderian never saw that, he'd probably have a fit. There you go, T-35 moving in again. Damaged engine. Stephenn, what are you thinking? The Führer will not be happy with this.
Enemy forces are.
And there you go, another Sturmgeschütz lost. So many lost.
Our panzers has been destroyed.
Victory points ever falling lower. Units being lost there for Whimsy. Barely anything is left standing. Rather surprisingly sort of tense ending, considering the sort of losses Stephenn suffered amongst other things. Now again, he's managed otherwise to keep his force relatively intact. It's just the assault gun. He's thrown away so many, but again, partly he's been able to afford it due to the fuel cache, which sort of kept supply for most of this fight. It's probably getting him plenty of fuel, and overall it's turned out to be a pretty good investment for him.
Ready for orders.
compared to Whimsy, who never got one and basically sort of been shot off field several times throughout the fight. Fun here with a pilfered field gun.
25 points remaining.
We are ready for action.
Who's watching our asses?
Another Sturmgeschütz.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Another and another and another. Only he abandoned the central victory point.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Even Stephenn seems to be running out of fuel now.
Infantry contact. Hostage.
There you go, Minefield doing a bit of damage.
Reconnaissance flight ready at your disposal. Panzer here. This is ours. Ostwind loaded and ready. This is German territory.
And there we go, Stephenn. Oh, 64 kills! Ritterkreuzträger! Gott in Himmel. 26 kills on the MD4 Zucker as well, and there you go, StuG got 1 T-3045. Looks like we finally got a GG there. Game over there. Definitely a bit of an unusual fight. I think this could have been over had Stephenn used his StuGs a bit more judiciously, rather than again like tanks. I think that was sort of really the main thing that sort of kept holding Stephenn back. Obviously played nice with his infantry, MD42s, Pack 40s, good usage, mines. He had a fuel cast up, which really did a lot for him. It was just basically his StuG usage, which heavily undermined him throughout this fight and really hurt him. So that was really odd. And again, Eddie Bet, I'm pretty sure could easily have won this fight. He could have probably had done this in half of the time. For Whimsy, again, you know, some interesting play. Aggressive half-tech usage early on, good mining and so on. But his fight basically ran out as he done basically switched over to just heavy T-35 usage. And that's basically where the problems arose. Partly, he probably could have supported that early half-tech with a few more lighter tanks, but still, he should have had fuel caches up to support that kind of play. And again, if you're going to rely heavily on doctrinal armor, you need fuel caches. Whimsy didn't have any, which rather undermined it. It rather sort of ended up in a point then where he really could keep at it, where Stephenn could just keep on making more tanks, and that way just slowly grind away at Whimsy, causing heavy casualties alongside those infantry. He also floated some heavy manpower points where he could easily gotten up Maxims and Mortars, something to sort of more heavily pressure Stephenn as well, which really didn't happen either. So in that regard, there was basically a spot at the mid-game where Whimsy, rather than sort of really engaging fully into sort of more geared up war, basically held back, and that slowly but surely gave Stephenn sort of a chance to win the game. I also think that Stephenn should have chosen a doctrine much sooner. That was definitely not okay in my perspective. But it was an interesting fight, some nice StuG action, though again I would have loved to see some better there. That almost brought tears to my eyes to see that many StuGs thrown away like that. So I hope you enjoyed this match, hope you learned something from it, I hope it gave some ideas on how to play the game and how not to use your Sturmgeschütz. And again, you know, the importance of maybe a good fuel cache early on can really make the difference for you in the longer run. So really try to consider that. So guys, thank you all. See you tomorrow, and bye.